Good day, my name is Angelo. Welcome to Nation's Voice Tower. That hub that keeps you updated on the political periphery and how it affects the welfare of the Nigerian populace. That same hub that gives you all the updates, everything pertaining to polity in Nigeria. And as we move on for the reclamation of a new Nigeria, of course, that is the dream of each and every Nigerian. Now, I was doing the background check and I stumbled on something. Okay, but before I go to that, amongst one of the rulings that was brought on board by the chairman of the tribunal, talking about the recently concluded presidential elections petitions tribunal, Justice Haruna Samani Simon, there was a portion in the judgment. He spelled out a particular thing, which I feel turned our constitution upside down, especially the 1999 constitution as amended. At that part, he spoke of the fact that because the respondent, number one, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, was, yes, convicted in the past via forfeiture of cash, and he was like, okay, if or since the crime is now 10 years and more over, he is not supposed to be indicted, or is he supposed to face any sort of sanction or disqualification of any sort. Now, I decided to pick a background check, because if you don't give these people proofs to show that they really went wrong, I don't think they would believe you, all right? Because they feel we in Nigeria, or we Nigerians, are so daft. All right, now listen. I did a background check on two people, all right? Festus Keyamo and Lai Mohammed, the former Minister of Information, all right, under the President Muhammadu Buhari administration. All right, now, if we're going to actually address the tribunal's upturn of the Constitution, which I would term it as such, in 2019, Lai Mohammed, former Minister of Information, was involved in a 2.5 billion naira scam or fraud, let me use it, fraud or embezzlement of funds involving the Nigerian Broadcasting Corporation, the NBC, all right? And he was never investigated for that, and for this particular massive embezzlement of public funds, all right? Now, the president then and the recent president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu and President Muhammadu Buhari, turned blind eyes to these particular allegations, all right? And the judiciary, most importantly, turned blind eyes to these allegations, all right? It's not as if he's the only corrupt politician in Nigeria, but he served in the government as well as others, or as others did too, all right? But we saw nothing about him. Why? Okay, now Premium Times, so you know that this particular case received a high degree of publicity, all right? Okay, now of Premium Times reported the same message and had a caption on a particular date that Lai Mohammed was convicted or was dragged to court for involvement in over 2.5 billion naira NBC fund embezzlement, all right? Aside Premium Times, the Punch newspaper also reported something of such clarity, okay, or such similarity, as you can see on your screen. So the question is, why did we all turn blind eyes to this, all right? Why did because when Bola Tinubu came to office, in his first 1 week, 2 weeks in office, he exercised his presidential powers, all right? He detained and suspended the governor of the central bank, Godwin Emefiele. He detained and suspended the EFCC chairman, that is the chairman of the Economic Financial Crimes Commission, Abdulrashid Bawa, and other people that have been arrested that have been linked to these people, okay? Why have the administration turned blind eyes to such people or such occurrences? In the same vein, on the 16th day of January, Festus Keyamo petitioned the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the CCB, and the ICPC, that is the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Crime-Related Crimes Commission. He petitioned these two people, or these three agencies, to arrest and interrogate Atiku Abubakar for fraud, because there was a revelation from Atiku Abubakar's formal media aide, who fell under the nomenclature Michael Achimugu. He exposed him in 5 different video captions, all right, and these things went viral. Festus Keyamo leveraged on that and petitioned the EFCC, the ICPC, and the CCB. Now, the Independent Corrupt Practices Commission gave him an answer, all right, and the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission too gave him an answer, all right. They can't just arrest somebody on hearsay, according to them. Okay, they must delve into investigations. Now, whether Atiku Abubakar did this or not, that is not the bone of contention right now. What am I trying to say? Forward to many years ago, yes, in 1999, that was okay. Yes, that was quite okay for suing Atiku Abubakar for his involvement in embezzlement of funds via a means called the SPV, Special Purpose Vehicle. All right. Now, that was different. But what happened to the lawsuit that Festus Keyamo filed against the Lagos State House of Assembly for clearing Bola Ahmed Tinubu, then as a governor, of certificate forgery and perjury? What happened to that lawsuit? What happened to it? Yes, we know that you didn't sue Bola Tinubu. You didn't drag him to court. You didn't petition him for perjury or forgery. But he petitioned the House of Assembly for clearing Bola Tinubu. That means you are in both sides challenging the results. The same thing people were saying some few weeks ago and are still saying. And this same man is pitching his tent with the APC. In fact, he is a minister in this Bola Tinubu's administration. That confirms when we tell you that this administration may not lead anywhere. It is filled with lots of fraudsters and people with questionable character, dignity, background, and track record, all right? So, this particular case involving Festus Keyamo and the Lagos State House of Assembly was reported by the Punch newspaper and also another online daily called the African Report, all right? They had authentic information and authentic records of this, as you could see on your screen. Okay, so that should tell you that this crime was really committed and was subject to investigation, but nothing was heard about it. So we'll continue to bring you these things so that you would understand and know how much more we need to put in more efforts to reclaim the country, in as much as politics or political environments are concerned, all right, in as much as the welfare of the Nigerian populace is concerned. There must be a sort of movement or a sort of legal move to reclaim the country, bring Nigeria back to glory, if there was any glory, and then reinstate Nigeria as a new Nigeria, of course. That is the dream of every Nigerian that needs peace and development. In another development, Nyesom Ezengo Nwike, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, of course, he has been into 1 or 2 projects recently, and in as much as he's very controversial, there is something about Nyesom Nwike I think I admire, all right? This may not go down with lots of people, but there is just one thing about him I admire. If he wants to walk, he will walk. That's one thing about Nyesom Nwike. Yes, if you go to River State, you will see lots of projects, of course. If he wants to walk, he will walk. Somehow. Putting aside his background and his controversy and all that, all right. In the vein of that, he has paid a visit on a kind of tour to inspect unfinished road projects in the FCT, all right, from the last administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. I like this particular part because whatever he does in the FCT will change at least the face of the FCT. I hope he doesn't just stop at infrastructural development alone. I hope himself and the Minister of State should put more efforts to help the individuals living in that city, because they need protection, they need security, and they need more employment. They need their level of living to be standardized, all right, to be subsidized. You can't continue to be living in Abuja and spend a fortune because you want to eat. Now, next video on your screen will be Nyesom Nwike while on the inspection tour of roads and infrastructure in the FCT. Stay tuned. More details after this break.
It's most unfortunate. The Honorable Minister of State and my humble self, we agreed that some of these projects, the FCDA and the administration have said that the contracts have been awarded, and we believe that we have to go on site to see some of these projects by ourselves. And then it's unfortunate that today, while we were going to the Gurara Road, it's very embarrassing. And this is not what we are going to take. The job was awarded in 2017 at the cost of 20 billion. In 2020, they revised the contract sum to be 50 billion. As I speak to you, they are paid about almost 50 billion. What is outstanding for what the man in charge of the General Services says 900 million. And now that the 900 million will not be enough to complete a job that they say have done over 90%, and therefore calling for another variation, and which we are not going to accept. I'm not going to accept that. And that's why I said, even in the General Services, we are going to overhaul that system. I've never seen a thing like this in my life. What you see in FCDA, contract variation from 10 billion to 198 billion, from 50 billion to 200 billion, is alarming. And I will not go to accept it. Now we come to the Usman water system. I was told that the contract had been awarded as an emergency contract. Now getting to here, see now that it has not been awarded fully. Just a letter of intent to the contractor since last year, August, something like that. I know the importance of this, to supply water to our people within the city and its environs. Water is very important, and so I've directed that there's not an emergency again. If something that happened since last year, you call it emergency till now, it's no longer emergency. And that's what I even said, if I thought it was emergency. So we have to start all over. And we are going to supervise the procurement process. And we allow other companies to bid as far as this project is concerned. So it's alarming. So that's where we are.
Okay. All right, get some wiki on that. And well, in as much as this administration has been flagged down by almost the majority of Nigerians, I want us to take the positives from this administration. Nothing to write home about here, but I believe strongly that from an optimistic perspective, you're going to have good people that might work in this administration. It may be from the ministerial nominees or the ministerial appointments, or from the new lawmakers in the National Assembly, talking about the House of Senate and the House of Representatives. All right, I know we're going to have lots of people that will do good things for their constituencies as well as their states, or even the new governors. Yes, we've had Alex Oti of Abia State pulling waves already. All right, news reaching us like 3 hours ago held that the former governor of Abia State, as that is Okeze Ikpeazu, has congratulated Alex Oti and has commended him on changing the face of things in Abia State. That is the most evident example of good works, all right? Having a kind of congratulatory message from an opponent, all right? So kudos to Abia State and their governors. That takes us to the fact that I said we might have people who will do lots of good things in this administration. But that doesn't change our own notion of the fact that the top is rotten and needs to be taken away. You know what I mean? Finally, I have something quite different. Yeah, this will shock you, but in as much as it's going to shock you, I would say it is a positive, and we need to really go into this right now. All right, what am I trying to say? Far away in Enugu State, in the southeastern part of Nigeria, a reverend father with name withheld has begun a personal protest on the streets of Enugu State. Yes, in Enugu town to be precise. In one of his placards or cardboard papers, written on them was an inscription that is urging the youths to take back their country with immediate alacrity. Now, as regards the presidential elections petitions tribunal judgment just concluded, the priest took it wise in his wisdom to go to the streets and begin a peaceful protest alone. Yes, it could start with you, it could start with me. All right, wherever you find yourself, you could go into this, because it is your constitutional right to protest against any sort of bad governance, injustice, and trampling on the rights of any Nigerian aside yourself. Next video on your screens is the Reverend Father. I admire his courage so much. People don't go for protests unless they have a support, all right? But this priest, in full regalia, in his cassock, went to the streets with several colors of cardboard papers with lots of inscriptions on them to tell the whole world, to tell passing Nigerians, to tell passers-by, to tell pedestrians that Nigeria is gone and we need to reclaim the dead and buried democracy. All right, next video on your screen is this priest. Kudos to him, and kudos to the Diocese of Enugu for really producing such a very wise priest. Please stay tuned for his video.
Happening live in Enugu, a Reverend Father with a placard urging the youth to take back their country. This is democracy is gone. Nigeria is dead. Nigeria is dead. Nigeria is dead. Nigerian youth, take back your country.
Alright, in as much as that sounds funny, but it's not funny, because this situation we find ourselves is specifically filled with hardship, the economic crunch, the hike in fuel pump price, the wanton killings everywhere, the injustices from the courts, the rotten judiciary. You know, we have lots of things. And here are politicians suing people to court for cyberbullying. What do you know about cyberbullying, for crying out loud? So Nigeria is in a very tense situation right now. We have lots of conundrums eating up the political system. The polity has been heated, okay? Now, the heat in the polity is not just coming from the masses, because I believe the masses are fighting for their rights, all right? The heat in the polity is coming from these people at the top, okay? They have not allowed peace to reign, neither have they allowed justice to prevail, all right? Hence the reason why every Nigerian is called upon to stand up and legally go for your rights and speak up. You need to speak up. If you don't speak up, all of the population of Nigeria may be in a situation where we may not have to come out freely anymore. Forget those who are in support of the government. They know what they have been doing. They know how much they have taken over time. And in no time, they will begin to complain too. Hence the reason why everybody is called upon to put all hands on deck, so we can return the dead democracy back to the living. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like our videos, share them. Please watch till the end, because that's what you're going to do for me. Then if you're watching me for the first time, please tap the subscribe button as well as the notification bell, so that you will always get to link up anytime I'm on air to give you updates like this. From our table here, we're saying bye.